talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is getting a Netflix series. First impressions, go.
First impressions.
Oh, it's starting off rough. He's starting off with the
Yeah. All right, let me back up a little bit. So for those that have
Okay.
never watched, I'm gonna give it like the most basic rundown of what Avatar: The Last Airbender is. Like literally, like
That's
2 or 3 sentences is all I'm gonna do with this.
I mean, you can go a little bit more than
Yeah, but
that
I don't want
if you want.
I don't want to spoil anything because it
Get-
is a show that if you have not watched, animated series wise, if you have not watched it, it is an animated TV show that I like absolutely adore. I loved it growing up, and then when COVID hit, I binge watched the whole series in 4 days, and the episodes are 20 to 30 minutes long, and so just that's kind of the presence I give you guys. But essentially, the game. I said game. We've been talking about games for so long. We haven't had any TV show or movies.
I know.
It's kind of fun. It's
I
kind
know.
of changed the pace for us.
It's
But,
been a minute.
yeah, but anyways, so the Avatar: The Last Airbender essentially is a story about the Avatar, and he goes missing for 100 years, and he gets awoken by 2 characters named Sokka and Katara. And they're like, oh, it's such a young kid. And it turns out he is the Avatar and he has been missing for 100 years. And now the Fire Nation, because there's 4 different nations, or 4 different bending types, essentially. There's the water tribe, or the water, air, earth, and wind, or air and fire, sorry. And essentially, like, they used to live in harmony. The Avatar disappears, and now the Fire Nation, like, is trying to take over the world and become, like, the dominant force. And with that, it's just a journey of Aang is the Avatar tries to master the elements and defeat the Fire Lord, who's the main boss at the end of the show. And no spoilers here, so.
Okay. So he's basically he's trying to bring peace to the land.
Yeah, essentially,
right?
he's trying to defeat the Fire Nation and bring back that harmony into the world. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's more than just that. Like it's very fun. It's got a lot of depth to it in terms of like character development. It makes you enjoy like almost every episode. And people compare it to, like, yes, it's anime, but it's not like true like Dragon Ball Z screaming for 3 episodes and then nothing happening. No, something happens like each episode. It's really cool. It goes into the backstory of like each character and essentially, I want to spoil stuff, but I don't want to spoil stuff. So I'm going to leave it at that. So.
I mean, you can say stuff that's just not spoil. Just
No,
don't
that's
spoil the
worthy.
end.
I don't want to spoil the end, but there's so much. But there's so much to
'Cause that was
unpack. Watch the TV show. I'm telling you, if you've not watched it, it is an animated series you will enjoy. Like if you like it, like I do. So
This is one of the things. So like when we were talking about it, and I'm gonna throw this out here, and I'm gonna get a lot of backlash, and I'm sorry. Anime for me is not my cup of tea.
Right.
I just whatever it is about anime, it's been one of those things that I just never got into, and many people have told me, try this anime, try this anime, try this one. It's anime, but it's not really anime, and like every time that I try stuff, I just really can't get into it. So for people out there like me that are, what makes this not anime? Because this is one of the things, like when me and just total brutal honesty, me and Adam were talking about these topics of like what we want to do, and I was like, I've never seen Last Airbender, and I'm like, I don't really like anime, and he's like, dude, you have to try, like you have to check it out. It's anime, but it's not anime,
Right.
and I want to know why. Why is it not it's anime, but it's not anime?
I'll tell you the huge reason why I know that it's not anime. It's because I was trying to have a conversation with somebody that is truly in love with anime, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they looked at me like I was stupid. They're like, that's not anime. I'm like,
Really?
yeah, and I was like, I mean, I guess, it's a cartoon. It's it's animated, but like, so that's the reason why. Because I'm not huge into anime. I've seen a lot of Dragon Ball Z and all that, but like, Avatar's the series that I watched the whole thing through. Because like you, man, I really don't like the true anime. Like, was it Hero Academia, Naruto? Those aren't my thing either. You know what I mean?
It's just hard for me to get into. I don't know what it is. It's like it's either the art style or the storyline or something like that. I just can't get into
So
them.
maybe this live action could be a good introduction to the story. Because, like I said, man, the story of The Last Airbender is really good. Like, it is very well done. The depth of the characters. And that is where I kind of draw my concerns with this live action
I will
interpretation.
okay. I will say that I do have a much better chance of checking out this. I will check out the live action
Yeah.
series. So yeah, I will give it a shot and see what the storyline brings. I was gonna move into the character design though. So let's hear your concerns because I have some questions for you.
Okay, so I will say, this has been done already. It's been put in a movie, and it was we talked about this in the past, where this is one of the worst movies ever made. Was the interpretation of this in live action, and that is a big concern of this series as a live
I
action.
wanted I want to show my notes right now, and I want to read word for word the question that I wrote down to ask you, and that question is, why will this be better than the live action movie that already came out and was terrible?
And that is a big question for a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender fans, and I don't have a good answer for you, unfortunately. And I think so. The cast itself, I don't know, um, I don't know their. Oh, sorry, I typed his name wrong. Oh no, I've been spelling names wrong. Uh, do you have his name? The Aang's name? Did you get that written down?
I do not
Oh
have his name.
shoot.
No,
Okay, well I have the rest, and I'm probably gonna butcher her name. Um, Ki Kiwatino. Oh man. Oh man.
you're a better man than I. I wasn't even gonna try this.
Yeah. She starred in Anne with E, which I've never seen, as Katana. Ian Ousley is Sokka from 13 Reasons Why. Dallas Lowe is Zuko, and he was in Shang-Chi, The Legend of Ten Rings, which I actually enjoyed that movie, and I think he might play it pretty good. So the cast that they picked essentially is better than the first one. It's more like, I feel like, true to the personalities, but that doesn't mean that they're going to do a good job. And my biggest thing is they did such a terrible job with the bending and like just the CGI in the first one. It's such a hard concept to put into live action. Like, it's like,
That's the question. That's the question that I had, and I think it's a good place to kind of start. Is like, this has been done
yeah,
before. What? Because I've never seen the live action or
don't.
the series. Like, I've never seen the live action or the real series. So like, what made the live action such a bad movie? Because I'm trying to find like
Yeah,
specifics, and people are just like, this is the movie we don't talk about, and like blah. But like, why? Like, what made it so bad?
everything. CGI, the way
CGI.
the way they interpreted the story, the acting, just the atmosphere, the just everything about it. It was just not Avatar: The Last Airbender, and a lot of Last Airbender fans are like, "What movie? Like, what are you talking about? That's not a thing."
That's what everybody says. Is like,
Yeah,
this is the movie we don't speak of.
yeah, and
But
oh my gosh, man, I was young when I watched it, and even like, like when you're a kid, you're like, "Oh wow, this movie is so great, I loved it." No, man, like as a kid, I was like, what did I just watch? Like, this is god awful. Like, I never want to watch this again. I've only ever seen it once, and I will never go back. So,
so, what do you think the live action version? What do you think this Netflix series has to do to not replicate the terrible live action version that already exists?
so
What changes need to be made?
I think that's where they are going to stay very true to the path of the series. Like they're gonna it's staying true to the plot line, but they're expanding, which I think is better. So I think that was a big issue with the live action movie is they tried to cram everything into a 2 hour movie, which from a series is impossible to do. Like a series like Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's impossible to cram and get everything that every fan wants. So that's one. Two, they have to nail the bending mechanics, like or the bending CGI. Like, it,
So, how does this bending mechanic work?
so essentially, so in each like like there, like I said, there's a Fire Nation, like each element that somebody can bend. So like the rock, I don't know how to explain it. So firebenders can like push fire and do different powers with that. Like it's essentially different powers. The air people, they can like throw like air and wind and like cause like stuff like that.
So these are like fighting
Yeah,
abilities.
essentially their fighting abilities. It's like almost like a kung fu, almost like they're like shooting like fire out of their hands or like fighting. And
Like the fire people, like Liu Kang can throw a fireball.
exactly,
Like,
exactly. And like you look at those things
okay.
and it looks good. And like, but my biggest concern of all the elements is air. Air is a hard thing to like put into like a visualization. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think they could do it now because you see it all the time in movies.
That's true, but
Like you,
that
especially like scary movies. If you look at like new scary movies where they're like trying to make like a spirit
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing,
true.
like they have that like kind of like ghostly kind of representation of like air moving. If they do that, they should be fine.
yeah, and I think with Netflix having the budget so much more than I don't even know who produced it back in the day, but whoever they had no money for this movie essentially. It was so
Yeah.
bad. But another big concern about this movie, and it's a quote actually. This is from the original creators, Mike and Brian. So I'll start with Mike. So this is his first quote. I don't know where I got it from, but this is what he had to say when he was put onto the project. When Brian and I signed on the project in 2018, we were hired as executive producers and showrunners. In a joint announcement for the series, Netflix said that it was committed to honoring our vision for this retelling and to supporting us on creating the series. And we expressed how excited we were for the opportunity to be at the helm. Unfortunately, things did not go as hoped. So that is a bad sign right there. And then kind of continuing it, I realized I couldn't control the creative direction of the series, but I could control how I responded. So I have chose to leave the project. It was the hardest professional decision I've ever made, and certainly not one I took lightly, but it was necessary for my happiness and creative integrity. So like that
Flop.
that right there
Flop.
is scary. Like how can you
It's gonna flop.
have the director or the creators of the series on a show and they were so upset to just leave? And I want to do one more quote by Brian, who's the other co-creator. Though I got to work with some great individuals, but both on Netflix side and our side, our own small development team, the general handling of the project created what I felt was negative and unsupportive environment. To be clear, this was not a simple matter of us not getting our way. Mike and I are collaborative people. We did not need all of the ideas to come from us as long as we felt those ideas were in the spirit and integrity of Avatar the Last Airbender. We would happily embrace them. However, we ultimately came to the belief that we would not be able to meaningfully guide the direction of the series. And again, like you said, that is a big concern. Like how bad does it look where you had the co-creators of the series on your team and you weren't listening to them? They're like, all right, peace. We're out of here. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that's a dead giveaway for a flop.
Yeah,
for me.
red
Imagine
flag, huge red flag.
Think about, like, we talked about the Hogwarts series coming up, and like think if a year or two into production, J.K. Rowling is just like,
Nah.
I'm out.
Yep. Yeah, and I'd be like, that's not good.
I don't know about this. I don't know about this Hogwarts series anymore.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. And I think with it, and the biggest thing is, so they left them. They're like, you know what? We're gonna do our own movie for 2025, and so it's like, so they're like, this is how we want our Avatar: The Last Airbender series and world. Like this is what we want it to be, and that, again, that's a big concern for a lot of fans, and including myself. Is it going to be a show I watch? Yes, but is it going to be a show that I watch more than once? It better be. Like, I hope it's not bad. So, but
I mean, I'm sorry, but I think this 1000% signals flop.
I agree.
I think the signals flop for me. And I was gonna ask you, do you think this gets a season 2? And now I'm not really, even as little as I know about it, I'm not sure it gets a season two. And even if it does get a season two, the season two Netflix is going to be going on at the same time as the actual creators are doing their
Yep.
thing.
Yep. And so that big red flag, I hope that maybe it was just some minor, well, it can't be minor things, because if there's minor things, from what the quote sounds like, it sounds like they were all for like some changes and whatnot, but it does not sound like it stays true to the series and the Avatar the Last Airbender, which is makes me really sad because but at the same time, here's another thing I kind of want to put out there is we don't need a live action of the show, in my opinion. Like, I love the series as an
No.
animated series, and like I'll go watch it again. I'll watch it a bunch of times. Like, I don't need to have that in live action, and I think that's become a big issue with movies nowadays. It's like everything needs to be a live action. Like the one that just came out, Little Mermaid. Why does that need to be live action?
I think I think it's not so much, and me and my brother talk about this all the time. It's not so much of, everything needs to be live action. I think it's just honestly a lack of creativity
That's
in
true.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
They have no original ideas.
And the ones
so
that
they just
and then when they do have original ideas, they flop.
yeah, they have no original ideas, and the original ideas that come out nobody cares about, and it's like that's why we just keep seeing, animateds going to live actions and remakes and reboots. It's like nobody. It's almost like we're at a point where like everything's been done before. Like,
Right.
oh, we did it done before, done before, done before. So like nobody has any original ideas to make anything new. It's just everything old is new, and just redo it and just redo it and like
Eventually
turn this
it'll
into a
stick.
live action. Yeah, like just keep doing it until people stop watching
Yep.
it.
And
Is basically what it is.
kind of going off of no original idea. So Elemental is a movie that just came out by Pixar.
Yeah.
It was the worst box office like ever of any Pixar movie.
Did you see
No,
it?
I didn't see it. Well, I was going to because I have that unlimited movies.
Yeah, 'cause you got the
Yeah, so
pass.
I'm gonna see it.
I figured you would see
Yeah,
it.
I'd see it here soon, but yeah, not good, man. And that's my fear with this Netflix series. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it is the show that Avatar: The Last Airbender fans will love, including myself. But
Yeah. I don't know.
know.
I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'll keep my fingers crossed, and I hope the best. I hope the best for you.
Yeah.
One last thing that I want to talk about is the how are you feeling about the tattoo?
The tattoo on his head.
There are some mixed reviews about the tattoo.
So I mean, it's got like design in it, right? It's not a true straight blue.
It's not a true straight blue. It does have some intricate design in it, which I actually think is kind of cool, because if you look at these like kind of ancient or like very meaningful like tattoos, like they usually have some very intricate design work. So I kind of like that, but I know the true fans have been saying that they're not really super excited with the character model.
So there's been a couple things I saw. I saw that some people weren't excited about that, but my thing is like, how can you show that in an animated series? You know what I mean? Like, I think on a live action, it would look very boring just to have a blue line, in my opinion. But again, a big issue or another thing is like people say that I'm so mad that I typed his name wrong because I don't want to say it right. Aang in the live action, they say he looks too young, but like in the Netflix series, or not the animated series, he is a kid. Like, what do you want him to be? Like a 30-year-old man? Like, or an 18-year-old going through puberty? No, like he's a kid. So that's one argument I don't agree with, of like, oh, Aang looks too young, but whatever.
We kind of talked about this when we did the Turtle Mayhem movie. It's like everybody was making a big deal about the the turtles being voiced by actual teenagers, and it's like, dude, the turtles are teenagers.
Right. Who do you want? You want Morgan Freeman being Raphael?
Right?
You.
Over here, Donatello.
Yeah, exactly.
What exactly do you want? Like, the turtles are teenagers, so like I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I feel like people find things to get upset about. The tattoo doesn't really bother me, and I think I want to I just want to throw it out there that like from an animation standpoint, there's a reason why animation doesn't always have like a ton of detail, and it's
It
like
won't get
it's because you have to animate
yeah,
that.
and it
You know,
wouldn't get
do
conveyed
you know
well
how many
either.
right? And you know how many times you would have to draw that same like instead of just drawing the blue, like the blue arrow, you'd have to draw
Yeah,
this like
yeah,
intricate design and make it move frame by
yeah.
frame, and it's like that would take forever. So it makes sense that it's just
It's
that's I
I
don't
think
know.
it's
I don't think
nitpicking
it's
at
such a
that
big
point,
deal.
to be honest. I
Yeah.
don't think it's not a big deal. Who knows? There's probably bigger Avatar fans that are like diehard than me, but I don't think it's a big deal. But what do I know?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
excited to hopefully have a good or TV show because I liked them. I liked the animated series, but I'm just fearful that it's gonna be the same exact thing as the movie. And I hope I'm wrong, and I hope a lot of us Avatar fans are wrong. Kind of. I'm gonna digress here. Did you know that Avatar: The Last Airbender was supposed to be Avatar?
wait, the James Cameron
No, so
Avatar?
like they wrote like Avatar: The Last Airbender had it written as Avatar, but
Uh-huh.
James Cameron like stole like not stole it, he trademarked it before they could. So
Oh,
yeah, so that's
really?
why they had to put The Last Airbender on it. So that's kind of funny. So
That is kind of funny
yeah,
actually, because I was wondering like where that came
yeah,
from, like why they both have the same name because they're totally
yeah,
unrelated.
and
But yeah,
it's
that's kind of funny.
and then another kind of point to it. So the or the I want to say I don't know who quoted it, but the they're like they commented on the way of the water, and then so
Yeah.
I think it was the creators like, oh, what are they gonna do next? The fire bending of the or something like that. They made like a fire bending comment. So like hopefully we can get to that before they do. So, but all right, that's basically all I have about this game. Hopefully it doesn't flop. Hopefully it's something good that all of us Avatar: The Last Airbender fans can enjoy.